sort out life's laundry. My name is Molly Marco, and today we have a guest on the podcast. Someone else is sharing their laundry with you instead of me, which is a relief and also super interesting. So today we are going to talk to Jasmin, and I actually am meeting her for the first time too, which is also very exciting because we kind of get to know her together. Her story is about her finding out that she's adopted and about God's patience with her and also her perseverance, and it's just kind of about navigating that. We touch on prayer, which is a big part of her story, and just this whole kind of like mess of being adopted and what that looks like, what it feels like, and God's part in it. And I mean, I'm not adopted, but I took a lot away from Jasmin's just her wisdom throughout this whole thing and what she's just gained from it and what God has been teaching her. So sit back, enjoy this chat. It's basically like an inside scoop on someone just spilling their heart out, which is really what the laundry chat is all about in the end. So I'm just honored that you decided to listen, and I hope that you just, that you learned something from Jasmin's laundry. Without further ado, let's just jump right in. Oh, and before we do that, please excuse all of the awkward pauses and situations with the audio. I really hope that it, is on your end, that it works and that you can hear everything. And yeah, this was my very first non-physical interview, and we did it virtually. So sorry if there's any awkward pauses or situations where we had to check if things were working. Yeah. Okay, let's get into the interview. Let's just start with a little bit about you. So I don't really actually know that much about you. So yeah, tell me all about yourself.
Okay, well, my name is Jasmin Closson, and I am a lifestyle blogger in New York. I'm 24 years old. I'm going to be 25 next month, so I'm so excited. And I love being creative. I'm not so good at it all the time, but I love being around creative people. It just sparks a lot of joy. And I am married to my best friend. His name is Brett. In November, it'll be almost 3 years. So, yeah, I mean, that's a little bit about myself.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So is your job, are you actually for a job a fashion blogger?
I actually just started blogging in January, so I'm still finding my niche, but I chose lifestyle just because I wanted to do a little bit of everything. But I'm also still trying to find what I'm good at. So I do this whenever I have time, and then I work part-time as a receptionist.
Okay. So wait, did you say lifestyle and not fashion?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. I was like, oh no. But okay, cool. That's awesome. And why do you think, oh my gosh, you actually, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I love that you just started that and you're just going for it. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I have started other things in the past similar to this. I mean, I've tried YouTube and Instagram, and you just have to, I guess, just keep trying until if you're constantly thinking about it and you want to do it, I guess just that's what I'm doing. I'm just not giving up on it. So
Good for you. I know how it is to to try so many different platforms. I'll try this, and
it's
now
so
I'm this.
embarrassing.
I know, right? Because at least there's a delete button.
Right? I wasn't.
That's funny. Let's talk about a little bit about faith. I kind of want to hear just kind of your background about Jesus and your relationship with him and how you kind of came to know him.
Okay. Well, my background, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, and most of my family is. And I Um, I mean, I'm really, I go to, we have meetings every week, and we also go out and preach. You probably know this. But I mean, as far as my relationship with God and Jesus, it's really close. I mean, just last night I was actually watching a video on Netflix, and it was about the Bible and Jesus. I mean, the way when I'm a very visual person, and so when I see him or people portraying him, it just gives you chills because you're like, he's just he is just such a good person, and the things that he provided and the way he treated people just makes you want to strive to be that way and to just encourage people to live that kind of lifestyle.
I agree. Actually, the book I'm reading is all about Jesus and how it's called like Beautiful Outlaw by John Eldridge, and
Mm-hmm.
it's literally giving like how you explain, like giving me chills about just how like it almost makes you want to cry about how like really
Yeah.
beautiful he was and how loving he was and how just like all of these like yeah he's just so like confusing because it's like oh there's so many different parts to him.
Yeah, yeah. I just yeah, like you said, it gives you chills and it makes you want to cry because we are so far from perfection and he was perfect. So it's impossible to be like him right now, but you know, you just have to keep trying and reading your Bible to make sure that you're doing um, you know, what he did.
Yeah, so did you say you are a Jehovah Witness?
Mhm.
What's like
Yeah,
the I don't know much about that actually.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of people don't. They just know that, hey, Jehovah's Witnesses are at my door right now.
Yeah.
So a big misconception too is that people don't think that we believe in Jesus because we call um, our name is Jehovah's Witnesses, but we do believe in Jesus. Believe in the Bible, and we base most of our teachings on the Bible, and that kind of scares a lot of people because they think, oh, like that's strict, and you should be able to do what you want to do. But if you read the Bible, it's really not God telling us uh, to just like live like you're living in a prison cell. He's just laying down laws to protect us, and so we just really strive to apply Bible principles, and then um, and the reason why we go door to door preach is because um, of the scripture that this good news will be preached in all the inhabited earth, and so we just share that message with people, and whoever wants to listen.
Huh, interesting. Okay, one before off topic, but is your side recording? Like, is there a button that you have to press to record?
Yeah, yeah. It's saying 6 minutes and 22 seconds, so
Perfect. Okay, okay. Because on my end, I was like, wait, it didn't look like it was recording your side, but okay, I think we're good then. I was like, oh no. Okay. We'll keep going along. I just wanted to be sure that like we didn't record up to this far, and then we're like didn't get it, you know? Okay. Okay. Let's move on to the question I asked everyone. And what is your dirty laundry? What is something that you've been? What's in your hamper?
my dirty laundry. I love that you call it that. That's so awesome. Um, I would say right now my dirty laundry is consistency. Does that consider as dirty laundry?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good.
I
No, yes,
feel
that definitely counts.
Yeah, I feel like my I just want to do better with that, and it bothers me so much because and not only online but in life, I just want to be more consistent in both online and in life, but I want to do it to the point where I have a routine and I'm also happy with what I'm being consistent with, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's a really good one. That's I like that a lot. That I really really like that. What's like so maybe what's like something you want to be consistent in?
So, I guess for online, like with Instagram, just being more consistent so I could build more of an audience, more people to connect with, because that's really the whole point of why I'm doing it is to not only get a message out, but also to connect with people that have not the same beliefs, but enjoy the same things. And then I guess offline, I would say, I know this probably sounds like cliche, but like with eating better, um,
Mm,
just developing a more consistent routine of like feeding myself better.
yeah,
Uh,
I love that.
it's so bad. And like, I, I don't know, sometimes I skip breakfast or skip, I should, yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, just I guess for myself, just having more of a routine, a better routine.
Yes. Ooh, I like that a lot. I'm so glad you said that. It definitely and like you said, it definitely counts as laundry because I think especially I don't know, we get so distracted nowadays that it's hard to stick to something for very long and then to do it daily. I don't know. It kind of depends who you are too, but yeah, consistency is a struggle for I think a lot of people. So you're definitely not alone in that.
Yay!
I guess let's go into kind of the main bulk of this chat is kind of your story, and I you kind of briefly told me about it, but I'm excited to hear the full thing. And from what you said, it sounds like a lot of perseverance and a lot of prayer. So go ahead and start from the beginning and spill everything.
Oh, well, thank you for letting me share this. Um, so basically, when I was maybe 7 or 8, I found out that my aunt was actually that my mom was actually my aunt. And a little more clarification on that, my dad had given me to his sister, and they just never communicated with me before that age and told me like what was going on. So when I found out, I mean, I was devastated. You know, that point in your life, I mean, that age, you don't really think about a whole lot, but um, you just never expect that. Um, but I was at the age that I didn't really, not that I didn't care, but I loved my aunt, and I'm just gonna say aunt so I don't confuse people. I loved my aunt so much that I just wanted to continue looking to her as my mom. And so I was upset, but I got over it and just continued on with life. And it wasn't until I was a teenager that I decided that I wanted to know, who my mom was. And not that I wanted to have a relationship with her. I just more so wanted to know like where I came from, what my other side of my family was like, what she even looked like, because I didn't have any pictures, um, nothing. So I would spend maybe like, I don't know, a few hours a week, a few times out of the year, searching for her online. Um, and I wouldn't find anything, so I just I would give up until I got that spark in me to start looking again. But it's funny because I never prayed about it. I never um, went to God and was like, please help me with this situation. I guess for myself, I didn't think that was important to ask him to help me to find her. But it wasn't until last year, actually, that I decided to just make it a matter of prayer. And so I prayed about it. And it's funny, literally the next day, um, I was searching online again, and I actually found a name of somebody that um, online it said that he lived with her, this guy. So I went on Facebook, looked up his name, and I messaged him. There was no answer. Messaged him again the next day. Um, oh, and then the next day he actually was calling me through Facebook, um, but I was so scared. I didn't pick up.
You didn't?
But I was just terrified. I'm like, I don't even know this guy. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe this isn't, who I think it is. So, I didn't answer, but, I just sat there and I was like, I've been waiting my whole life to do this, and I can't pass this opportunity up. So I just called him right back, and I was like shaking so bad and I was so scared. And he picked up the phone, and I mean, just to cut this short a little bit, he, I said, "Hi, do you know this person?" And he said, "Yeah, that's my wife." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, are you serious?" And I just couldn't believe it. Like, okay, I finally found her, but, you know, I have to tell him who I am. So I said, "Oh, I think this is my mom." And he said, "What's your name?" And I told him my name, and he said, "Yeah, she has a daughter named Jasmine, but she lives in Texas." And I was like, "Well, I don't live in Texas. I live in New York." So, but I just had the feeling. I was like, maybe the information got construed or some. Uh, is that even a word, construed?
I think that sounded right when you said it.
Sometimes I make up my own words. um, Sometimes information just gets mixed up, and so I just was very persistent, and I just told him, this is my age, this is where I live, and just please, if she can contact me back. And he said, "Okay, she's not here at the moment. She'll be back later, and I'll have her give you a call back." And again, to make it short, she had called back, and it was just crazy. I mean, the the um the feeling is something that you really can't convey or you can't express because it's very abnormal. We weren't
Yeah.
this wasn't how life was supposed to be. You weren't supposed to be separated from your parents, but that's how it is right now. So we just talked for I don't know how long, and her husband was there listening too. So it wasn't like very. It was personal, but not very personal because my husband was there too. So it was just like I don't know how to explain it, but um, just after being able to connect with her, just gave me some sort of completeness. And I mean, the reason why I'm sharing this is because um, I the one prayer, it's so
Yeah.
powerful, and then two, um, just never giving up, constantly. It was something that would not be on my mind every day, but something that would come up like every few months. And so, um, if it's there, I learned like if something's constantly weighing on me, I just need to pray about it and leave it in God's hand, and if it's His will for me to do whatever is on my mind, then it will happen. So yeah, that's pretty that's pretty much the short version of that.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Can you like, how did it, I know, I can't even like comprehend like hearing my mom's voice for the first time or like, like, did you ever get to meet her in person at all?
Yeah, we actually set up a date, and I think it was like a couple weeks later we met at the mall. And it gives me chills talking about it just because it's like it it's like it was like a movie. You know, you see
Yeah.
this stuff in movies, but you never experience it. And one movie that always gives me chills, and it's a kids movie, but it it's just so deep. I don't know if you ever seen it. It's called August Rush, but
Oh, I
at
haven't seen
the
the whole thing. I really should.
oh, I'm not gonna tell you the ending though, but
Okay.
it is just it felt not like that. Like it was dramatic, but I I I did get a picture of what she looked like before I met her, but we were in a mall and there was so many people, and you know, I was just looking all around, and my husband was with me, and so he was so supportive of it. But I was just like looking all around, like where is she? I think we planned to like meet up in the food court, and so I think did she get there first? I'm not sure. I don't remember. It was such a blur. But when we got there, it just both cried because you know it just it's just a weird feeling.
Yeah.
um, but we just cried and we're just like, you know, I can't believe. And I think, I mean, she still is, you know, still in shock, and uh, there's much more detail. I guess someone else tried to impersonate me before, and so she had thought that that was
Oh,
me. And so finally meeting the real person, I think just like put her in even more shock, you know.
yeah. Oh my. How do you like I guess and again, if any of these questions are too personal or you don't or it's you don't want to go into detail about it, don't feel bad to like not answer them or just say like you want to skip it. But um like have you what are your feelings towards your mom? Like or have you I mean, is there a sense of like where you have to forgive her, or do you like feel just, or you kind of skip past that, or you where you just are so happy to have met her, or like how does that what's your relationship, or like what's your feelings towards your mom?
Well, so it's kind of crazy because okay, for the first couple of months we talked on the phone, and she's very similar to me, personality wise, and I'm always working on myself, and so it kind of it kind of turned me away, um, a little bit. Well, that's one reason that I kind of distance myself. Like right now, we are not like um, talking to each other, and I'll go into more detail. Um, but what had happened is I met her in April, and my aunt who raised me, who I called mom, she had passed away in July.
Oh,
So, yeah, it was just crazy. And so I just felt like I forgive her. Let me stay on track here. I forgive her because I don't know what she was going through in her life at the time when she had me, and um, I don't know if she was in the right frame of mind to raise me, and so you know I'm just grateful that I remained in my family as opposed to like other people who I don't even know how they deal with this situation, but
yeah.
who don't even know their family members. They don't know their mom or dad, which I'm different because I know who my dad is, and you know my dad's family. So I had some sort of connection there. So I don't um I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I'm a very forgiving person. But to call her mom or um, to have a connection right now with her, I just can't. I just can't do it because of what happened with my aunt who just passed away, and also um, just the fact that she wasn't she wasn't there for me. And again, I forgive her for not being there, but it's like um sh- if we were to have a relationship, I feel like it would be more on a friend level. I don't know if that sounds mean or but
No, that's understandable. Yeah.
and I've talked, you know, to my husband about it and to my friends about it, and they're like Jasmine, you can't be so hard on yourself. That's not normal. And the fact that I'm even, you know, just wiping the slate clean and just willing to forget about, what has happened in the past, or, the fact that she wasn't in the picture, is just taking a step forward. Um, but I mean, I hope sometime in the future, like, we, become friends. But right now, I'm just not to that point.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, because it's only been like a year or since you've
Yeah.
last met her, you said? Okay, yeah. So that's still so new. Yeah. How does it like feel? I mean, how does it feel to be adopted? What's like a good thing about being adopted and also a bad thing about being adopted?
So, the good thing is, um, I like I said, I wasn't an orphan, you
Yeah.
know, but I was adopted, and I, my aunt was, she was single. She didn't have a husband or anything, so I grew up without a father. So I feel like, and I didn't know it at the time, but I feel that God was with me more so, and He was even more protective over me, and just showed so much love.
Oh,
And and time and time again, I feel like it's undeserved, undeserved kindness. But to keep yourself going, you just have to accept it and be grateful. um and so I think that was, that's a good thing about, being in that situation. You just have, I'm not saying more than other people, but you just, um he just really understands your situation.
yeah.
And as far as bad part, um honestly, since we're imperfect, I think, um your adopted parents, or my aunt, she loved me a lot, but I don't think they have, the same love that a parent, your biological parent, would have.
Mm.
And so, and I hate saying that, because, my mom loved me so much, but at times, when you're a teenager, things get rough.
Yeah, me
So
too.
she she would, she would remind me, that the things she would say, she would remind me that I wasn't her biological child. And that hurts, and, it has an effect on you, going through life. But that's, she took on a big responsibility, and I can't really be mad at her for that. um and so I would say that was one of the bad parts, constantly feeling like, not that you're not loved, but it's not the same kind of love. And when I was in that situation, when she was raising me, I didn't even realize that. But looking back as an adult, you see, like, other families, and you're like, oh, that, it's a different type of relationship.
Yeah, yeah. I actually one of my best friends actually is adopted too. I've never. It's funny because I've never actually talked to her like this in depth about it. But as you're talking, I'm thinking of my friend Jenna, and
Oh.
just how like I'm sure she has similar feelings as you. Like this is just I just think it's crazy. I also actually read a book about someone who was adopted too, and and it was a while ago that I read it, but um they kind of had similar like thoughts as you did and feelings as you did, which is interesting. And the only reason I'm remembering them is because you're speaking now. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this. I feel like I've heard this before, but that's crazy. So I guess then throughout either this experience finding your mom or just like this whole life of you kind of coming to terms with being adopted, like how what have you learned about God through this time, like what characteristics draw you near to God, or what new parts of God have you discovered, that maybe a person like me who's not adopted like doesn't really realize about God.
um well, I would say that uh, he is very merciful. And not that I didn't see that before, but it just became more evident as I step back and look at my life because um, we're all born sinners. So
Yeah.
there have been mistakes that I've made in my life, and not bad ones, but you wake up every day and there may be things that you may not realize is a sin, but it's like, just little things. And so, just the fact that he's just so forgiving and just willing to give you his hand and say, come on, let's go, like we can do this. Um and and every time you put him first, he gives you something back, more than you would even like more than you would expect. And not that you expect anything from him, but he does tell you, if you put him first, he will add all these other things to you. So um yeah, I would say that he's just really um just a loving God, and I would say, like I said before, I wasn't an orphan, but when you grow up without a father, he is your father. You look to him, and just he's just somebody that will always be there for you, and that's just reassuring,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. Is there a verse that kind of has been that stuck with you throughout this whole time?
Well, I think what I yeah, the verse that I quoted before, Matthew 6:33, where you just keep seeking the kingdom first, and all those other things will be added to you. I think, I mean, most of my life I've just sacrificed and put him first, and I think that has really, helped my situation because. Um, I did what I needed to do, and even though what I thought wasn't important, he still knew my needs, and um, he was able to fulfill, you know, my needs at that moment in time. So
Yeah. Huh. Oh my goodness, I'm still amazed by like, oh, you're so sweet, by the way. I your voice is so cute. This is just like I it just like I wish I could like see you right now. If you're listening, we can't see each other, but I wish I could just like hug you because like I just feel like what you've been through and what you've learned is just I just you're so like what's the word like you just seem so like you've come out of it so much like stronger and yet so much like sweeter. And I guess I don't know how you I didn't know you before, but you just have this
yeah.
like sweetness and this just gentleness to you that I think is, after all that you've been through, is just so amazing to me. I just good for you. I'm so proud of you.
Aw.
Oh,
I'll give you a virtual hug. A
okay.
virtual hug.
I love it. Thank you. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I mean, going through this stuff, you definitely come out with like, you come out with different things, but um, you just learn to. I mean, there's times when I think back and look at, what has happened, and I give myself a little bit of time to just like, okay, that's what happened, and yeah, that's, a little bit depressing, but I realize, I have to just, keep positive and see, like you said, what I learned from it. And yeah, it did make me stronger, and sometimes I don't realize that, but it just helps me to see like I can just deal with maybe other things that you know come in my life that are hard or difficult.
Yeah. How has, because I know when you were like in your story about, and I think it's so relatable how like you realize that that whole time you were searching, you never prayed about it. And I have definitely
Yeah.
been there too. It's like crazy how like our first instinct isn't always to ask God for help, you know? Um
Yeah.
so I guess why kind of why is prayer, why do you think prayer actually works? Why do you think prayer is important? And then how do you kind of fit it into your, in your life now?
Um, well, prayer makes a huge difference. When I don't pray about things, or before I do them, I can really tell not how it's going to turn out, but I mean, when you have the result, you're like, well, maybe it could have been better if I prayed about it or waited a little bit longer. But I mean, the times that I have prayed about things, um, they like I felt like I've always gotten an answer, and that could be a hard thing, or a reason why people don't pray right away is because they feel like they don't get an answer
Yeah.
um, instantly. But I mean, you're taught in the Bible, you pray and he will answer you. He's not gonna leave you stranded. So I can't say there isn't a time where I prayed and I felt like he did not answer me. Um, and of course, not talking to me or anything, but like more of like, just things things happening, like the example I shared with you just now. But I mean, yeah, and it's nice because when you're married, you have someone who also, well, if you marry in the same faith, you have someone who also feels that connection and prays with you, which makes it even stronger. Um, and I incorporate, and I always try to do better. I feel like sometimes my prayers, I try not to say the same things over, but variety, and just be grateful, um, and thank him for what I have each day. So I try to, usually in the morning is when I'm most alert, and I take time out to just write in my journal and then go to him in prayer and just share what's on my mind, or whatever I'm concerned about, or uh, just talk to him because he's my friend, he's my father. So um, yeah, I just take a little bit of time out, and then of course, before I eat and before I go to bed, I pray then too. So I really try to incorporate it because he's there, he's listening, and he created that provision for us. So why not, do it?
Yeah, yeah. No, I like how you said before you eat, because when I was with my friend and her boyfriend, and we went out to eat or whatever, and they opened their, like, our food came, and then they opened their hands, and I was like, oh, I guess we're praying. And so, like, we like held hands, and all, but I hadn't prayed before a meal in the longest time, and I used to do it like all the time when I was young, with like the family and stuff, and even at school, I
Yeah.
remember doing it at lunchtime a little bit, but like I hadn't, it just was so natural to them, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I wish I had that like immediate like response, like when God gives a blessing, like you pray and thank him for it, or when something happens, you just automatically like open your hands and just like pray to him. Like I it's such a hard like habit to get used to, like the consistency thing.
Yeah.
but but
That's
it's,
what I mean. Yeah.
yes, yes. But yeah, no, I like how you said too about the gratefulness thing, just like in the morning, just thanking him for things too. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We could start an album, just like a new beat. um
Oh, I know what I was gonna say.
okay.
The show, it's actually a good show on Netflix if you ever watch it. I mean, the Bible did have a lot of violence in it in the beginning, but I kind of skipped through those parts because they kind of make it graphic.
Mm,
But um, the part that we watched last night, it was when Jesus was feeding the large crowd of people, and how they showed it is that he lifted up a basket um, of like just a few fish, and then when he brought it back down, it had like a whole bunch of fish in it. So it just changed my mindset on that too. Like now, when I eat, I have even more appreciation than I did before, because I'm like, wow, it is a miracle. I mean, that he even provided food for us, you know?
Yeah, yeah. What's that series called again? The Bible? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Is it
The
new?
Bible. Um, Honestly, I didn't even look at the year that it came out, but it probably is very recent.
Interesting. Okay. I'll have to. That sounds good. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, you will like it. Um, yeah, because we have videos that are also really good on our website, and um, we have conventions where they show like movies like that. So, but every time I see something visual from the Bible, it sticks with me. Like,
Yeah.
and when I read the account, it just comes to life. So I just like, I know some people hate reading, but if you could see, and not you, I know that you love reading, but um, if you could see visually how the Bible is portrayed, it just gives it deeper meaning, and it makes you want to just dive in even more.
Yeah. I agree with that. Um, what okay, this is, I think we've come to about our last question actually. And this is kind of like a free, whatever is on your heart. What advice would you give to people who, if they're listening out there and they're just feeling like stuck in their life, where they're like they've been searching for a long time, and maybe they are searching for their mom, or searching for a career, or searching for a direction to go, or a school, or searching for even just like their who they are. What advice would you give them?
Um, I would say, if something's on your mind, and you're constantly thinking about it, and it doesn't conflict with uh, what God wants for you, I would say just keep on, to go for it, and keep searching, keep praying. Are you still there?
Yep, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I would say, keep searching, keep praying, because He knows your needs, and you're important to Him, and He's listening. So I would just say, don't give up, and just to keep going with whatever it is you want to pursue.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then the final thing is, where can everyone find you now that they have listened to your story, and if they want to follow up or ask you questions, or where can people find you?
I have a blog, and it's jasminclosson.com. And then my Instagram name is Jas, Closson, Closson.
Awesome. And they'll be linked below around somewhere. I'll put them somewhere too so people can click on them. But
Okay.
oh my goodness, it was so nice talking to you. You did so good, by the
Yeah.
way.
Thank you for, I mean, you're just so, I mean, it's like, when you watch YouTube videos, you just feel like that person is your friend. And then, like, every time I watch your videos, I'm like, I just feel like I just connect with you. I mean, through your videos, and I just love them so much. So keep making them.
Oh, thank you. I most definitely will. I love making them too. So it's always reassuring to have people, you know, like say that, so I know that people are, you know what I mean, so I don't feel like I'm just like putting things out into like a void, because it totally feels like that sometimes. It's like, oh my gosh. But
No, it's so good. I remember the first video that I saw of yours, and it was your live Bible study, and I just thought that was so cool. Like, who's no, not a lot of people are doing that, and I'm like, man, I gotta follow this girl. She's it was
oh,
just cool.
I miss doing those. Those are fun. I really I do want, I wish I didn't have to stop them, but it just kind of got crazy, and yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, enough about me. Again, thank you so much, Jasmin. I'm so glad that we met, and that you were able to just come on the podcast, and yeah, and share your story, and hopefully it helped someone else listening out there. And yeah, I don't know. I guess this is the worst part, is ending. um
I know. Thank you for letting me share it, though. That was really nice of you.
yes. I'm we're going to
go do our laundry. I think this is the phrase I'm ending with now, is we're gonna go do our laundry now. So have a nice day, week, night, you guys, and I will see you next week on the Laundry Chat podcast. Bye.